Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm declaring my independence. Independence from what? Why, negative thoughts and energy, of course. Chief among them, hate, division, and fear. You see, I know that we're all one, and together we can solve any problem, save our planet and each other. Please, join me as we come together as one and choose a better way to be. So now, let's begin with my independence report. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of my Independence Report. It is March 17th, and there's somebody in the studio here with us. I'm not going to mention any names, but he seems to be wearing an Xbox t-shirt. He's got a big mug on his left-hand side, and next to the mug, right out of camera view, is the chosen beverage for today, and that would be Jameson.
Jameson, that sounds Irish to me.
Irish Day.
Well, when in Dublin.
Patty's Day. And Deep Pockets over there was drinking a beverage that was, there was something in that beverage that's just not water. There is a light tinge to it. So I'm willing to bet that you're part of the little fun and games today, too.
You know, coming straight from Holland, a little Genever, something that we're particularly proud of in the region. A little bit for gin, has a juniper berry origin for it. Recipe that has come back in popularity as of late, and enjoying that with a little ice bomb and lemon. So
and
quite refreshing.
Quite refreshing until you have too much, and then
there's always that.
Yes, gin never tasted good coming back up, but that's my personal story. It's great to have you here, Chris. I just want I know that you guys are talking about doing a podcast, and so we've been going over that, and I wish you guys the best of luck, and hope that it works out for you and stuff, and make sure you send me one of your first things, and I'll put it up here, and we'll see what people think.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for talking to us today.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
If you haven't figured this out, by the way, Jeff, this is the first time I've met Jeff. Sometimes it's hard to get me to shut up. Ask Eric.
I've never picked that up.
Oh, well then, never mind. I guess I need to do more of it then. So
yeah, that doesn't bother me at all.
Lighting my pipe. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so a bus driver with a pipe in his hand is not a really good idea.
Well, I must tell you, this is tobacco. Tobacco.
Yeah, wacky tobacco.
What? No, whack tobacco.
Did you know?
Hey, there's no judgment here.
Huh?
By the way, these guys, it's the end of their day. They're in the Netherlands.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm in Seattle.
One's in Seattle, one's in the Netherlands. This is
How
what I
cool
love.
Is that?
Yeah, this is
crazy, right?
Man.
So it can be people that are all over the world, and we can have as many as 10 people on this platform. So it's
I love the Netherlands, man.
And we're multi-species.
Are we? What, like Bigfoot? I thought that was just a beard.
No. He's not my beard.
Well, hiding it was, because I can never keep track of what's coming out.
Oh.
Well, you know what I really like from that part of the world?
What's that?
Well, people like this. Now that is a gorgeous girl.
She is absolutely lovely, both inside and out, man. I love her music.
Oh, so do I. And I'm gonna actually see if she'll come on Martha Norwalk's show on the 28th. It would be great fun. She is remarkable, just like these guys are. Chris, by the way, Eric.
Yes, sir.
I need to introduce my nephew as somebody who used to speak English.
Really?
He no longer speaks English because he now speaks computer speak. So I want you to ask him what he does for a living, and if you understand it, you can have this show.
1001000111100.
Why are you talking in boob language?
11. Well, that's computer language. I'm just verbalizing it.
Right. You just made a boob. 101010. That's a boob.
Oh, I was hoping nobody would pick up on that. It's my best language. Let me rephrase it.
Yeah.
00111.
So you have that language too? Am I the only ignorant person that doesn't know how to get a boob out of zeros and ones?
You need to call Kevin James then. I think he was. I don't know if anybody's going to get that reference, but
Oh, they might. So,
They might.
so anyway, Chris, tell Eric what it is you do. Well, you don't want to be too specific, but he's a computer guy, and he how many computer languages do you know?
Active use, 3 or 4, and total half a dozen or so. It wanes over time. It's kind of it's like any other platform technology. Stuff changes. There's certain companies that sponsor more. There's languages that come up in popularity. There's where the work is. There's where the fun is. All range of the gamut. But in short, real simple, just keep the things humming. For the team I'm working with, we're just kind of the mechanics of the operation. So for all intents and purposes, we're there to make sure that there's no problems. If there are problems, to fix them as soon as possible. And ideally before any of our partners notice. We want to make sure that the error comes to us before it comes to our clients.
And that was directly out of the sales book for the company he works for.
That's fantastic. Fantastic.
Well, it works a little bit better than 000111 0002 through. Oh, do you rinse that too? Just 001.
Is it? Yeah.
Multilingual guy. See, I've tried to pay bills that way, and
Every once in a while it works out, but then all of
Does
a sudden you want a return or a response on it, and you just never know what to say.
funny story about Chris. We used to work together, and he spent a lot of time working on this project to help these mainframe people kind of ramp up and get their stuff updated and pushed into the system. And he was so proud he was doing this demonstration. And I looked at him and I slapped him and I go, Chris, if you ever spend a month working on a dead language like that and stifle your career, I will kill you personally. And he's like, he didn't realize it at the time, but it was the best advice anyone ever gave, because now he's like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. And I'm like, so he only progressed and worked on new languages after that.
wow.
It's the joy that we meet all the people that we pick up in our lives. We're meeting for a career, obviously. The best people. We spend so much time working with people that are across from our desk, either virtually or not. So what we can get out of them is, if we friendships or career advice or whatever else is, just to the benefit of all.
One time we went to my son's house with my sister and her family, which included Chris. At the time, he was back from, I think you were back from somewhere, and we were sitting there talking, and I made the fatal mistake of saying, "So, Chris, what exactly is it that you do?" 10 minutes later,
You still didn't know.
10 minutes later, I had no idea what he had just said, and everybody else was sitting there at the table, looking at him, and nobody said a word. It's like, I have no idea what you just said. Was that actually English, or was that computer speak that we had? And I still to this day, I admire you for being able to do what you do, because I couldn't even begin to. No.
I
Go
should
ahead.
admire that for everybody else, because we do the things that we specialize in and we're good at, but everybody has that gift. Everyone has the skill that they're putting their time into, their energy, and do something well. So we're all bringing that together, and we can all grow from each other, learning from that.
Absolutely.
What I find
There's
so
also levels
fascinating.
on the autistics. He's on the autistic scale. Like, he can do a computer program, but he doesn't know how to use a lamp.
Really?
No, I know how to use the lamp. This is why it's perfectly set up like this. Thank you.
What I find so fascinating about all this computer stuff is, a 6-year-old can just intuitively use a phone, where a 60-year-old like myself, it takes me 5 minutes to figure out how to turn the thing on.
Yep.
And, the
Rub it
6-year-old
harder.
is, or rub it harder. Well, so there's an intuitive process that the next, 2 generations from now already has that we don't. And I imagine that's something that the developers have had in mind somehow, right?
Yeah, and that's a whole other side of it is to, as we get more complex, as we get more systems that need a lot more fiddling and a lot more adjustment, how do you present that to the user? I mean, you had, I mean, even if you want to take like cars, I mean, how much more complex have we got in the last 20 years, 30 years? Now take that to the computer system, truncate that down to the last 5 years, and it's on a completely different scale. I mean, the combustion engine has not changed radically since it was invented. But even with the electronics and the systems and the routing, it's gotten so complex to the point where you have to have a digital device, a scanner, to even be able to interface with to tell what's wrong. That same principle applying to just everything around us for the whole. I mean, the author for the design of everyday things, and kind of goes into that a little bit of how to put something so simple that is very easy to approach on something that is very complex in the back end. It's a whole industry surrounding that.
It's mind-boggling. I saw this video yesterday of this concept car that didn't have a steering wheel. You drive it by shifting the weight. So it was almost like a, for lack of a better word, a surfboard, maybe two of them. Left foot, then a right foot, and you sort of lean and you talk to the vehicle, and the vehicle responds to your driving skills. So as you get better, it responds to you in different ways. And not only that, it upgrades the information that's out there so you can make better choices about the traffic conditions.
That's terrible. Like, what were you going to tell if you get in an accident? Well, officer, I was trying to fart. Oh, the car swerved off the road. What? That's just, who would want that?
Well, see, the vehicle's got to compensate for your dietary.
I'm lactose intolerant. I crash all the time.
I guess that's a concern. But wow, hi Chris. I guess that's something that we should prepare ourselves for.
Lactose intolerance?
Well,
don't they have a bill for that?
Well, our next vehicles, if we ever, in the next maybe 15 years, if we live long enough, we may have vehicles that will want us to interact with them to the extent that they're as intelligent to make as many decisions on the road as we can.
Yeah, AI is changing our world as we know it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a whole thing on itself of how do we interacting with it, and just even the whole model of how we're feeding data into it. Like, there's this whole big concern now about like just all the information that's being collected and being fed into these systems, machine learning, the AI, the way that we're trying to make it easier on ourselves. But in order to do that, taking all this data, building up the models, and then kind of the implicit bias that comes from that, because humans are still involved in the process initially. You still have to submit the data, you still have to process it, put it in place, decide what data is important, what data is not. There's that whole concept of can you have completely subjective data set that doesn't have those implicit biases before that is going to discriminate against a certain group, a certain area, a certain decision path that is programmed into, not because it's trying to make a bad decision, but just because that's what it's told to look for.
It's interesting that you had mentioned not to have it make a bad decision, because where is the trust level that we should have or we should place on such an item? To trust our lives with an autonomous vehicle, that's a huge leap for people of our age, and I imagine people of your age as well. I would rather begin with a toaster. Hey, I'd like light brown this time. I'd rather start there and make it a crumpet, and have my refrigerator, deliver a crumpet to my toaster, and have a drone fly the crumpet to my plate. Butter, please.
But
a little bit of caviar, yeah.
Unbeknownst to you, for many years, airplanes have been on autopilot for like 90%. Basically, pilots land and take off. Then after that, it's autopilot. It's gone in. So you've been actually in a self-driving vehicle for a long time. You just didn't know it.
Yeah,
But
but
the cat's out of the bag.
the difference is when you're at 30,000 feet, the chances of a pedestrian falling in front of your airplane are not very good.
No, you just have to worry about the Tic Tacs, the little gray aliens that are coming in and out.
Oh God.
So, Jeff, what number should people reach you at? I'm just kidding. So,
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure having you on and stuff. Is there anything that you would like to say to our audience? Because this is the first time that you've been on a podcast, and this is on YouTube right now.
Well, fantastic. Enjoying the experience. Thanks for having us on the show. And just looking forward to future projects. We're just hearing and learning all about what you have to offer.
One of these
Yeah.
days, Chris,
Go
go ahead, Jeff.
I was just going to say, I'm looking forward to giving you some content, maybe do another one, actual podcast, and follow up and hear your comments live.
Absolutely. That would be fun. We'll include Eric in that because he is a very, very good vocabulary guy. He speaks as well.
I have all the best words.
He's got all.
And your ones and your zeros.
Yes.
Even the ones I make up. They're all the best words.
And then what we have to do next is to figure out how to show Chris's face because all I see is a nose and two eyes.
Well,
It's
we're going to work
beautiful
on
to
lamp
say.
technology.
So
Well, I think we'll put the content to the right places. So yeah, we'll certainly have a lot to improve on and make better, and just bring all this together in the best way possible.
just relax and have fun and don't worry about it because nobody cares anyway.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be as good as it's going to be, and someday, I've got a goal. I'm going to make $13.8 million.
That's right.
That's a
Um,
specific number, 13.8.
13.8 million.
That's
Well, setting his expectations right. You don't want to go for 15. You don't want to go for too low. Just got that just
Nope.
right. Average
You
it
gotta
out.
find a target number, man. Find that target number.
you got to
Numbers
find
are
that
important.
target. But you know what that actually means, Chris, is not that I'm getting $13.8 million, but that means that I am touching enough people in a positive way that they think that it's worth $13.8 million.
Nice.
I'm
And
looking
that's a
for
beautiful goal.
45 because I have to refund my Orca card.
I understand completely. So anyway, you guys have yourself a wonderful day, and I'm going to say bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Happy St. Pat's.
You take care, enjoy, and by the way, make it an early night. Oh, sorry, he's gone. Oh no, he's still there. Are you? Go ahead, finish your thought.
I said I will. Thank you. Cheers.
Take care, Jeff. It was nice meeting you, by the way.
Nice meeting you. Nice meeting
Jeff.
you both.
Take care, Jeff.
So there, and
Well, they're good
Oh.
guys.
yeah, they're a couple of good guys. They've got a dream. They've got a thought. It's hard. I got to tell you, Eric, it's hard to convey to somebody how much fun this is, but also how difficult it can be to gain traction, as it were. Because gaining traction is really, really, really hard to do. Because you got to find a bunch of folks that like what you do,
Sure.
and it makes
Yeah.
it tough. Makes it tough. Although I got to tell you, your the podcasts I've been doing with you have been getting some likes and some people watching and listening to you. That's
Well,
great.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, I'm happy about that. This is my favorite hour of the week. I thoroughly enjoy this.
One of mine too. By the way, Monday night went well.
It did. I had a lot of fun. It went off without a hitch. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to doing it again sometime this summer. I began a story this morning that I'll prepare for probably, I don't know what time this summer, maybe July, maybe August, who knows. but it's a science fiction story. And I'm going to try something that sort of breaks the boundaries of normal storytelling a little bit.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Why are you going to do that?
Well, you know how you've got a backdrop, right?
Yep.
And you can purchase those screens, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to do one of those because I looked it up and they're fairly reasonable in cost. And
Like
instead of like $20
for a green screen to put behind me, yeah.
Yeah. And instead of showing myself, I'm just going to show images of that I haven't worked out yet. But anyway, the piece right now is called Birth of the Elements.
Interesting. Now you got my brain going.
And it's, would you like to hear the story?
Yeah.
It's in the most roughest form because I wrote it literally an hour ago.
Oh, God.
And I came up with the idea about an hour and 10 minutes ago. And it's called
Before you go on, you know what that's called, don't you?
Last minute writing?
No. Inspiration.
Oh, it's
Inspiration.
Inspiration. Right.
Because that's what Fia said, is that she gets the music in her head and it goes down to her arm and it goes on the paper. And somebody else said that to me as well. Inspiration is key, and writing the way you write, you will get inspired from somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Well, that is how it happened. It came from somewhere else.
No, go ahead.
So it's called Birth of the Elements. It was the time before place when the elements were discussing their part of what would be. There was sun, there was earth, there was wind, there was water, there was echo. And it was a meeting like no other, as there was no meeting before. And their arrival was a mystery to them, as there was no placing or numerical system or sense of who was first, or what would happen next, as there was no logic or procedure that would lead them to what would happen next. The sun was the first to speak because he was the brightest. I am the brightest, therefore it's logical that I go first. And without me, no one could see you, and I provide the warmth that you all need. And the earth listened quietly, rolled while the sun dictated. As the earth finished its rotation, it responded to the sun. Yes, you do provide us with the warmth that is needed, and you might be the brightest, but there is no sense in just being the brightest if you have no place. And I provide a sense of place, therefore a sense of purpose. So I should go first, for without me there is no purpose. Then the wind chimed in. I have listened to the sun, to the earth. I am here because I bring both of you together. I am the solar winds. I am the winds of the air because I wrap the earth and I bring all parts of the earth together. Therefore, I should go first. It was then that the water spoke. I am part of the earth. I am part of the wind. I am part of the sun. You are all here simply to support me. I carry everything. I wrap the earth with my existence. Therefore, you are here for me. I will speak first. It was then that they heard the echo. The echo did not have its own voice. It simply played back what they all had said, and they heard. They heard the foolishness of their own voices, and they understood what they had said to each other, and they understood that one without the other could not exist, and they understood that they were part of each other, but they were the same, and from that point on, that they knew they were the universe and the creation of all things. From that day on, they considered themselves the elements. Elements do not speak singly. They speak in unison.
Wow. That's you made that up all by yourself an hour ago?
I made that up about an hour ago.
Where did that come from? Where do you think about stuff like that? Have you been thinking about it for a while and then put it down, or was this you were looking out your window and saw the sun and there we go?
Yeah, I was watching the breeze go over my grass that needs to be cutting.
Yeah.
And I was going to write a piece about Breeze going, mixing things up as it should. And instead of just writing about the Breeze singly, I thought, more should be written than just the Breeze, because the Breeze needs something beside it. So that's what came out of that story.
So you said you wanted to do it differently. You wanted to do it visually as well as the story?
Yeah, I want to, and I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet. And I want to work on the voices to make them, kind of grander. And I don't know what I'm going to do about the water. That's a tough one. I don't know. Maybe you could do water.
No.
No.
I'd have to think about that. Water would be
Water. Yeah. Water.
You can electronically alter it. If you
There's an idea.
you can there are programs where you can electronically alter your voice.
Oh, thank God. Okay, good. That's a relief.
Yeah, but you see what you can do. See what you're looking at doing is a at the end of my learning curve, because what you need to do is to pick the pictures you want to put on the front of it, and then you need to create the audio with music behind it and change and take and edit it and make the voices different the way you want them and separate the paragraphs and all that stuff, and then you put the video on top of the edited part and you create a movie.
Interesting.
Which is exactly what I did with that.
The way,
Because that was a MP3 from her CD.
Wow.
And so I took that and combined the video with pictures to make the audio with pictures to make a video, and put the music underneath it all, and then that became a music montage of some sort.
Yeah, I could watch that all day.
And she's gorgeous, isn't she?
She's just wonderful,
and she's got such a wonderful spirit to her. I keep that all day because I use it incessantly, because I just love that song. If that song doesn't make her a millionaire, I don't know what will.
Who knows, man? Who knows? It just doesn't get better than that. Doesn't get better than that.
And like I was telling the two guys that we were talking about. So you want to do a podcast, do you? It's like it can be a tremendous amount of fun, but it can also be the biggest drag in the world. So I get the opportunity to talk to people like you. All you do is you get to come on and talk. And
I know, I love it. You do all the work.
But the way it works now, there really isn't any work, and it's just enjoyable to do. So I appreciate that. By the way, I didn't have a chance because I started doing the other podcast at 11 o'clock. I didn't have a chance to change into my my normal Metro garb, but you've done that. So I think we should pursue a little bit about what we were talking about.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Good to me. That sounds good to me.
Okay, so for ladies and gentlemen, what we were going to talk about was, well, go ahead. You tell them what we were going to talk about.
Well, we came up with a concept of two bus drivers sitting.
Hold on. You do that. I'll be right back.
Well, I'll be here. We came up with a concept of two bus drivers sitting. And we're sitting in what we call the bullpen. And we're waiting to be assigned, or we have been assigned to go out and drive routes. And basically we're either waiting to drive or because our routes haven't started yet, or we're waiting to get assigned routes that haven't been assigned to us yet. They have backup drivers for people that call in sick or extra routes that come up that day. And there are drivers there that talk about their days and share information. And as you might imagine, there's a lot of stories that go around about what happens on the streets, their personal experiences. And the segment is going to be exactly that. We're going to share stories of what our experience has been driving a bus. For instance, very much like the stories that we've shared before, what we see. I will read a quick story based on my blog. Here we go. I'm going to find one. I had one up earlier that had disappeared.
See, I had to get my. By the way, were you able to continue talking all the way through that?
Yes. Oh, you look great.
As do you, sir. As do you.
You look great. Yeah, you look like a driver. Now I recognize that. Yep.
Now I look like a damn driver.
Keep moving. We're gonna keep moving.
rolling. Man, my ass is swollen. Ride. No,
That's damn my ass is swollen.
That's from. I gotta give Billy Crystal credit for that. So.
Oh yeah. A funny movie.
It really was a funny movie. So where did you leave everybody off?
I explained the concept of sharing our experiences. We're sitting in the bullpen waiting to be assigned to a route, or we've been assigned, and we've got a few minutes till we start driving. And bless you.
I need to drink out of the right, and not have it go down the wrong.
I see. It was a part of that Irish celebration.
Yes, indeed. Well, I was just thinking it is St. Patty's Day. This is one of those, St. Patty's Day is one of those days. It's like, oh, goody, St. Patty's Day. It gives me the right to drink.
Yeah.
I can drink it till I fall down because, after all, it is Why am I doing it in Indian accent? Why?
Because why not? Why not?
Because it is right, We get to do that if we wish. We can do anything. I'm standing here beside myself. So anyway.
Same thing with Cinco de Mayo, man. Somehow that got out of hand too.
And that's not even the primary Independence Day. There's another day that's the primary, and this is just the one where the American marketing engine took hold.
What a surprise!
Yeah. Have you noticed? By the way, this is just a rant on my part. Have you noticed that throughout the year that we don't have like stacked upon stacked, except for Thanksgiving and New Year, Christmas and New Year's? And then there's nothing they could do to alter those dates. But there's always there's something in January, which is of course President's Day. Mm-hmm. And then February is Valentine's Day.
Yes, of course.
March is
President's Day.
No, March is St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day, that's right.
Which is today. And then April is Easter, generally.
Yes, of course.
May is
May Day.
May Day and also Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, okay.
And then July or June. What is June?
Father's Day.
Thank you. Very good. and we forgot about Mother's Day also in May.
Oh yeah. Oh God. Yes.
Can't forget about that. So Father's Day is in June, and then 4th of July is in July, and then Labor Day is in September. They don't have anything there because that's, I guess, my birthday would qualify. But other than that, it's back to school, and everybody's getting back to doing their stuff. And then you've got Halloween in October. November is Thanksgiving. December. So they have the marketing gods have given us one day a month that we can celebrate different things and buy stuff.
But we left out August. What's in August?
Labor Day.
Is that the last day of August?
Well, Labor Day. Labor Day and September. It can be either one, I suppose.
Really?
Now that you.
Really?
Yeah, it's either the last week of of August or the first week of September.
Huh.
Let me see if I can let's see. August does it say 20?
Maybe they figure everybody's on vacation anyway.
I have a crappy calendar apparently. It doesn't tell me any events. So
I wonder if they just leave that out because most everybody's on vacation because of the weather.
I think probably and stuff. So anyway, back to we're sitting in what we call the bullpen, or
Yes.
how do you want to set that up?
Well, it's a little known fact that every August is bullpen day. August 5th is bullpen day.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Well, it's a little known fact, yeah. And last August 5th, I was sitting in the bullpen with another driver, and we were talking about our experiences because we were waiting to be sent out. And yes, and
you explained what that was.
Yes, we explained what the bullpen was, and August 5th, we didn't really explain what the holiday was, bullpen day. The reason why bullpen day came about was because August 5th, inexplicably, is a day that a lot of drivers aren't set out. So there's more drivers sitting in the bullpen than normal, which is very interesting because August 5th, there's usually a lot of drivers on vacation. And since there's a lot of drivers sitting in the bullpen, there's a lot of conversations going on and a lot of people talking about their experiences. So we were talking about what was going on in our day, and over the microphone, it was announced, driver number 21076, please report to the window. And it was reported to the window, you have route 61 from 10:30 a.m. until 8:10 p.m. That's a long shift. That's a long shift. That's a lot of time out there. And that runs from the U District out to West Seattle, which is a pretty easy run because you pick up people in downtown Seattle, then you get on Highway 99 rather quickly, and then take the West Seattle Bridge, which is now closed. So you take the lower West Seattle Bridge out to Admiral Way, and then drop people off at in the Admiral District, and then park a little while, and then wait to carry people back in town. So what's interesting about that is that you get mostly commuters, but it is a long shift. So you're going to get some people that are trying to get off the streets for a little bit and get a break, get a little change of scenery. But it's an easy route to do because there aren't a lot of turns. There's a little bit of traffic to deal with, but mostly you have commuters, people that have ORCA cards, sit down and do what we like to think of as behave themselves, keep to themselves.
or play with themselves. One of the
play with themselves, which does happen.
It's just people are giving themselves pleasure on the bus. That's what they would call it. And
which I have seen before. Well, before I worked for Metro, there was a guy who was sitting in my regular spot, which is about just behind. It was, those articulated buses.
Oh yeah.
Just behind that, I used to sit there, and I went and grabbed my seat, and I noticed a guy was sitting kind of back to my left, and I looked, and he was smiling at me, and I saw an arm movement, and I looked back, about a minute later, it's the same arm movement, and I figured out what he was doing while he was smiling at me. I thought, man, that guy's got some exotic tastes. So
you just wonderful attractive for him,
man. So I moved up, sat by the driver because that was, that was more than I wanted to be subjected to. So that's what
you kind of do look like Warren Beatty, not Warren.
Yeah,
Beatty.
I've been told that a lot.
Well, the guy that was in Deliverance?
The hair in Deliverance. Oh, thank you. Which one? The guitar player?
No, the one, the Beatty.
Not the guy that oinked. No.
That's
No.
what was his name? And he's still alive, but
I choose to forget.
yeah, it's funny. My son will not watch that movie just because of that particular scene.
Oh God.
Squeal like a pig. That's it.
Oh man.
Yeah,
That is frightening.
but
That is
yes, it is. But I'm sorry, we digress.
no, this is exactly what it's like to sit in the bullpen.
It's really true.
That's exactly what it's like to sit in the bullpen. So I'm going to leave at 10:30. I check in the bus at 10:10 because it takes us 20 minutes to safety check the bus, and we do safety check that bus. We do a walk around the outside. I like to open up the window from the outside and turn the bus on, get that bus running. As I do an exterior check, I make sure that the flashers are working, that all the tires are inflated, that there are no dents that can't be explained, or don't look fresh, so I don't get blamed for them. And if there is something suspicious about the bus, the exterior of the bus, it looks like a fresh accident, we report it before we head out, or we call on the computer and let the TCC transit communications know what's going on, and then they make a decision whether we should take the bus out or not. And once we do an exterior check, the bike rack and all that, then we do an interior walkthrough, make sure that there's the reflectors, that there's a sure that there's wheel chocks to keep the bus from moving if those emergency brakes fail, which is, as I understand it, almost impossible way that air system works.
Yep.
If it gets below a certain point, that those brake systems, they engage. So,
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that happen?
That the air system fails?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So what happens is the I heard this pop and I heard this and the bus just slowed down and just stopped. Wasn't going to go anywhere from where, because the brakes were all interlocked, and it was it. We weren't going anywhere, folks.
No,
we're in the middle,
yeah,
which was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was kind of fun. I was kind of relieved that happened to me. I think it was about 6 weeks into getting the job, and that happened to me. And I'll tell you the truth, I was kind of happy. I'm glad that worked out that way, because now I know I'm not going to be going down Queen Anne Avenue and have the brakes go out and not be able to, deal with, smashing through a building and, not just stopping at some light pole, but going through a building. That's not going to happen. These buses are incredibly safe. I have to tell you, I'm pretty impressed with the engineering on these vehicles and what the extent that their computer systems, the backup systems, the safety equipment they have on these buses, they've thought these through. I know I've talked to other people in the bullpen about these, but I think sometimes people just like to complain and they don't,
No.
Yeah, I think they do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because what I can tell, these buses are pretty well taken care of. And in the first place, they're pretty well designed. They put a lot of thought and engineering into this whole thing.
Do you know who the worst people to have around a bus for safety are? The drivers, because we leave some incredible messes for our fellow drivers, that we leave, crap on the floor and stuff, and let alone, I got another pet peeve. Damn it, since we're in the bullpen, I got to bring this up. Because I know it wouldn't be you, but I want to know who keeps screwing up the bathrooms.
Oh, man.
These are adults. adults. These are human beings that have theoretically they have a CDL. That means they're semi-educated human beings, and they're writing stuff on in the bathroom, and they're leaving stuff on the floor. And these are adults, aren't they?
Supposedly, we have to be of a certain age to get hired.
You'd think that. So it's like when you walk into.
I know.
Of course,
I know, man.
Did you hear that story? I think I did. I think because I always digress to bathroom humor with you about the guy in the.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
The guy in the Home Depot. I told you that. We discussed that story, right?
Which one? Which one?
The one in the Home Depot that they called in a bomb threat.
Oh yeah, that was hilarious. That was hilarious, man.
But that happens in our world, in the bus driving world, all the time. And they have comfort stations, but if you had a particularly bad burrito and you were in the comfort station and you had a lineup of people waiting to use the comfort station, it's kind of embarrassing when you step out and 3 people keel over.
That's right. They should mention that in training. No burritos, at least 3 hours before you drive.
For folks that well, when I first went full time, I was at East Base. I hadn't even gone full time yet. And I asked a driver, I said, he'd been full time for about 10 years. And talking to him about the money he made, and he was happy with that and stuff. And I said, well, what advice can you give me for when I go full time? And he said, well, I can tell you one thing's for sure. And that is, you're not a full-time driver until you shit your pants.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Excuse me? And he said, no, you're not a full-time driver until you've gotten to.
Oh, man.
Absolutely no choice. And it's like, well, I hope I never. So I never actually officially joined the brown pants of the drivers.
I'm glad to hear that, man.
I'll bet you that if you were to talk to, this is the conversation that would go around the bullpen. There'd be 5 or 6 guys here, and it's like, you shit your pants? Did you shit yours? How about you? And of course, nobody's going to want to own up to it, except for the guy who doesn't care about such things, and then he'll, even whether he did or not, he'll still own up to it.
Well, I bought a seat cover from Amazon. It cost me, it was only $30, and it's so easy to put on. It's like a thick towel, and it's got a white coating on the back. And I put it on there because I had a relief driver enter my bus one day, and he's great guy, but I sensed that he was a little bit of a germaphobe. And he was talking to me about how bad the seats were. And this was probably about 2 weeks into it. And I was a little sweaty that day because it was summer. And the seat was a little moist from my sweat. And it was sweat. There was nothing else there. And I felt kind of bad. And I thought, he's right. So I went and got and he put down a seat cover, and he said, these were only $30 on Amazon. And I know why he told me that story, because he would rather I get my own seat cover. So
make an investment.
Yes. So I bought a seat cover, and I've been looking at the seats more, and they are really stained.
Oh, yes.
They're really stained.
Well, now prior to you coming, you've been with them, what, 4 years, 5 years?
This is my 4th year.
You're 4 years. Before you got here, there was a big moment in time because they had not scheduled breaks accordingly, and there was a period where Elle and I actually had to come in and talk to them about the fact that they weren't maintaining their comfort stations, which by the way, comfort station, for those of you who don't know what it is basically a bathroom. And they have them strategically located throughout the system so that you can, if you're at a layover point, which is like a park and ride or something like that, you can go use the comfort station, because that will make you a lot more comfortable than if you try and drive while you got to take a leak.
Oh, man.
Or stuff. So
Well, I'm
So
sure
anyway,
people can relate to, the safety level when you really have to go. You can imagine, driving a bus when you really have to go. So go ahead.
I don't have to imagine.
Yeah,
I've been there.
you've been there. Right.
So, but that's when you learn how to eat before you go to work.
That's right.
And you don't, which always kills me, because one of the things that they do at Metro as a way of community involvement and camaraderie and getting everybody together is they'll feed us, and they'll bring in and they'll have lunch and stuff, and oftentimes it's like, have a barbecued ham sandwich and baked beans and then go drive a bus for 10 hours. I dare you.
The chili contest every July.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good idea.
Whoever thought of a chili contest for a bus driver? Because then you're on the bus for 10 hours and it can strike at the oddest times.
Well, I think it was started by those people that own those Amazon stores that sell the seat covers.
Yeah. It's funny because we sit there and we talk about how your seat cover works versus my seat cover. I never used one because I had, I figured my pants would absorb all of the negativity that was there for the previous bus driver. And I never, but like I was saying, before you came, there was a big thing because women were peeing on the bus.
Oh, see how horrible.
Yeah.
Women have a bad, men have some options, but I feel sorry for the women because they have very few options.
Oh, I know. And although there are some men who, not that I study bathroom habits, mind you, but there are some guys that do some of the weirdest things on a bus. One of the things that we do is to get qualified on a new route. We have to drive the route with a qualified driver. And he signs a piece of paper that says that we are now qualified. We take it into training. They ask us some questions. If we prove to them we're qualified, then we can drive that route, which is how you get into the bullpen, which you're doing, you get assigned routes and stuff. And so this one guy, he was, we were at Convention Place Station, which is right at the end of the convention center. And he looked at me and said, "You need to use the restroom?" And I said, "No, I'm good." And he said, "Well, could you give me a couple of moments, please?" And now the bathroom is right out the door, down the stairs to your right. You got a key. You go into the bathroom. And I said, "So," and then he pulls out this mason jar that was a third full of a yellowish type liquid, and
Gatorade.
yeah. and I said, and he looked at me and he said, "I don't use the bathrooms here. They're too messy." So I had me get off the bus. He went to the back of the bus. He did his business. He put his mason jar back into his backpack, which I don't know how sanitary that could possibly be. But he did that anyway. I never rode with him again, thank goodness.
It's a little risky, if something happens to that mason jar, you got to shut that bus down.
Yep. Or you get, I don't know. It's just, people are the most unique creatures on the planet, and you don't know that until you've been a bus driver.
That's right. There's a level of comfortability that every man has to face and know in himself what is right for himself.
Yes. and do the best he can to do what's right.
That's right. There's those people that make a living holding signs for traffic.
Yes.
Those are the people I think about when I'm driving in my driver's seat.
I couldn't do it. I feel sorry for those people that are just standing there for 8 hours by the time they get done, because they're just standing there. I don't know how people stay on their feet that long.
Well, a buddy of mine used to do that, and he said one of the best, they got paid pretty well. You know, they're sort of at our price level, from what I understand. But he said one of the better days, one of my better days was when I left the diaper club.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. Now I don't know if he was one of those people that was unique in his choices, or if that was something everybody did.
Well, when you think about it, and you think about and sometimes they bring in a porta potty, but a lot of times when they're moving and stuff, they don't think in terms of where's this guy gonna go take a leak.
That's right. It's only 8 hours. They can hold it.
Oh man,
This is why you don't see old men out there holding the sign. Their blood pressure medicine does not allow for that.
they got it. When you gotta go, you gotta go,
And you gotta go.
So it's fun. By the way, this is Eric Hall. He's a master writer of stuff. And one of the next time, what we need to do is to have we don't need to do anything, but it'd be fun to have a dialogue about what it's like, what we do and stuff. Because it's like, well, have you ever been close to see, this is the kind of conversation that will start in a guy will come and be sitting there just playing on his phone or something. Somebody else will come in and he will have had an experience happen to him and he's trying to decompress. And he's trying to get out from under that whatever it was, and he needs help to do that. And the only other people that can help him is a fellow bus driver, because we've been through it. We understand it. And it's like well, do you have a quick story in that way?
I do, but not anything specific, but I'll tell you how important that is, because like any humans, there are some humans that like each other, and then there's humans that for no reason do not like each other. And bus drivers are the same as any other humans. And I have encountered people that for no reason at all, we didn't like each other. And one of these drivers came in from the day. No, I encountered him out on the road at a layover, and he was having a very bad day. And he and I never had words with each other, but it was obvious that we didn't like each other at all, and we would avoid each other. But he needed to talk this time. And I listened, and I heard him, and we had a conversation, and it was very supportive. And from that day on, we still don't like each other. But from that day on, we respect each other. It changed that whole dynamic, because we know we experience the same things, and there's a fellowship in that. And even though we don't, care for each other, we're never going to be best buds for some inexplicable reason, because he's not a bad guy, right. Just based on his negative experience and how he responded to it. I know this is a good man, but for some reason, he and I just don't have the ability to get along.
I know there are some people that worked there when I was working there that they just didn't understand that the way that I was saying it and what I believe is the truth, and there's a bunch of garbage is what they believe. And and it's interesting when so many different views, so many differing viewpoints on so many items. We come from all walks of life. It's interesting when you start getting into the gun debate or the political debate and stuff. And then you think you're developing a friendship with somebody who turns out to be the exact opposite of what you believe is what they believe. So it's interesting how it works.
I guess we should all be happy that we believe that everyone believes that the sky is indeed blue.
Exactly. By the way, I want you to write another short story.
Another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What? You think you were done? What?
I, okay. That's-
The title of this short story is
um,
Best Friends 5 Minutes at a Time.
best friends 5 minutes at a time.
Yes.
Oh,
see-
that's good.
You get it.
That's good.
Because let me explain for our audience if they don't, if we haven't made it clear enough.
Yeah.
And that is because, like, my sister would always say, what time do you have to go to work? I go to work at 10:22 and I get off at 6:31. And she's like, why don't you guys just go to work at 10:30 and get off at 6? And I said, well, no, because we have a start time, then we have 18 minutes. We have to be on the road in that 18 minutes. Then we have to be at our place here, and our first stop is at 7:16. That's when we leave there. And if we go to our next stop and we're a minute early at 7:35, we have to wait till 7:36 in order for us to, because time is a really important thing. So
That's right.
so I will, and this has happened for years. I will walk up to the window. Each 3 months we get a different shakeup, which means our start time and our end time is different. It's different for everybody in the whole system, with very few exceptions. And so you go to work and you sign in 59. You sign in at least 3 minutes early, and if you're 59 seconds later, a minute 59 now, you get written up. So you're only there. You walk in, you go to the window, you sign in, you check your mail, and then you are off and running to getting your stuff together and then getting out. So what happens is, like, if you and I were both at South Base, and we were, say I signed in at 2:21 and you signed in at 2:23, or you signed in at 2:18 or whatever, you'd still be physically in there.
Yeah.
So I would say hi, and we would have a conversation that lasted absolutely no more than 5 minutes.
Right.
You do that for 3 months at a time. Every day that I see you, I say, hi, how are you? We develop a friendship 5 minutes at a time.
Interesting. That's very good.
Because
that's very good, man. Because that's how it happens. I mean, that's a lot of quality time.
It is, but it takes. So I developed friendships that last to this day that took 2, 3, or 4 years to develop, to the point where we recognize that we have something in common. It'd be nice to hang out with this guy.
That's right.
Because you only get a snippet. You only get a little bit, like 5 minutes at a time, and so it's really is interesting how that works.
That is interesting, man.
So there's your next story, and it could be a soap opera about that 5-minute exchange between a couple of guys that and it happens over the course of. So in some cases, it happens over years. How many times have you gone to a new shakeup, which is where all the times are different, and you're going and you're starting at a new time, and you see somebody you haven't seen in 2 years. You thought they'd quit or gone away, but they're still working. You just never see them.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Yeah, people from training class. Yeah,
and it happens all the time. I'm convinced. This is my conspiracy theory.
Okay, Q.
I'm convinced that there are people driving a bus for Metro that nobody's seen in 5 years.
Oh my God, you're probably right. They've probably been out there that whole time.
What they do is they go in, they sign, they get out. They're like a minute, and so nobody sees them. They can hide. They're just like, it's like nobody's noticing that they're there. Chiefs don't even know their name. They're what they look like, and stuff. So these people, they just go out and drive their bus, and they come back and they leave, and nobody ever sees them.
They're the same people that choose the routes that do not have left turns.
Exactly. which by the way, UPS doesn't allow their drivers to make left turns. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. Oh, I have seen those guys make left. I can bust them because they park at our stops.
Yeah. Well, they're not supposed to make the way that they've got them routed is they're not supposed to make left turns because left turns are a lot more dangerous than
Yes,
right
they
turns.
are. Yes, they are. Ooh, I can stop them and say, hey, I get to choose one of these boxes. And I will
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Eric, it's been an hour. I just enjoy our time together so much.
I had a blast, man. I never know what to expect, and it just turns out to be great.
I never know either. But you're always thinking something, and you're always ahead of the game. Your story was great. Flesh it out, and it's going to be another good one. By the way, when are you going to be on Marsh again?
I haven't set a date, but I'm thinking maybe July or August. I've got to develop that story some more, and then think of it visually and put it together, play with it a little bit. I'd like to do a precursor here, if that would be okay with you.
Of course.
And try it out and see how it works, and then try the Marsh accordingly.
Speaking of which, and I haven't mentioned this to you, my new website's going to come up later on this week.
Really?
And I want you to be a contributor. Will you do that?
I would love to do that.
I'm going to create what I'm working to do is all the podcasts will be on that website and a store and a blog so that people can go and they can learn. They can buy any of the books of all the 150 to 175 authors that I've interviewed, and we put them on there, and then they can look at them through Amazon because they're all the same kind of genre. And then we're going to have I want to put t-shirts together and hats and stuff. One of the t-shirts is going to say "Heal Your Shit," which is a technical term.
Yes.
and other ones that are and just have fun with it. But I would love for you to contribute to some short stories and some blogs and stuff.
Count me in.
That would be great fun.
Count me in.
Well, you're a special man, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Kevin. Back at you, man. Back at you.
So, anything you want to say to our audience before we go? Bye.
Continue to be safe. Happy spring, everybody. Next time I see you, it will be spring, right? No, it'll be spring next week.
Yes, it will be.
Hey,
it's on the weekend, isn't it?
I think, isn't it the 21st is the spring summer solstice?
The 21st is Sunday. Yeah. So
okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I'll see you next spring.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you have yourself a wonderful day. It's great. It's great fun having you here. These are just, we don't get a lot done, but we have fun doing it.
That's right. That's right. I appreciate you, Kevin, man. It's been fun.
I appreciate you too. And I'll let you know when the new website's up. By the way, that's going to be myindependencereport.com. And it's going to have all kinds of fun stuff. So I hope that you'll stay tuned for that and buy your Heal Your Shit t-shirt. That would be fun.
Looking forward to it. Bye, everybody.
Have a great day.
Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other because each other's all we've got. See you next time on My Independence Report.